It's April. Can you believe it's April already, everybody? This year has just flown by, and that means we've got another set of games coming to Game Pass, thus proving the value of Game Pass. It's absolutely huge. I don't want to go over all the new games that we know of so far in April, and no doubt we're going to get some surprises here, but I do want to hit 3 of the main ones. Now, there's 8 total that we know of so far, but the 3 main ones that, at least in my mind, are ones that I'm very excited for. Lego 2K Drive, that comes out tomorrow, April 3rd. We've got EA Sports PGA Tour. That's what you're seeing on screen now. That, to me, is the highlight, but I am a huge golf fan. I'm a huge fan of the PGA Tour. I'm a huge fan of what they've done with it, the revamp of it. I think they've done a really good job, EA Sports, that is, in moving away from Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods kind of got a little bit too arcadey for me. It's been much better since they've gone this new direction. So that is coming on April 4th, also this week. And then finally on April 11th, we've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, which is another big game, another opportunity. If you've never played those, that's the revamp of Lara Croft, the revamp of Tomb Raider, and well worth it. And I think, again, adding value here to Game Pass, adding value to the powerhouse that is Game Pass. This ball is rolling. It's rolling down the hill. Who can keep up with it is going to be a big question here. Now, my biggest game, obviously, here is PGA. For me, that's for me. I'm a sports guy. There is something relaxing about jumping into PGA. But the reason I pick Lego 2K Drive is that's a great game to play with kids. It's a ton of fun. Think of if you ever played Forza Motorsport when they added Legos. Imagine that. They added like a Lego expansion. Imagine that, but it's a standalone game. And that is exactly what Lego 2K Drive is. And it's a blast. It's a blast to play with kids. Absolutely 100%. Highly recommend that game. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider is just this opportunity to go back and play a classic reboot that I view as a classic reboot. I think that the future is bright for the Tomb Raider series, and it's bright because of what they did with this Tomb Raider here, this reboot of it. Over on the Xbox One, actually, is when that rebooted. So we're getting the definitive edition of that at the end of the month. I wrote down some questions here. Let's talk about it. Before we jump into these questions, I would like to know, what of these games are you most looking forward to out of those 3? Who's with me on PGA? Number 1, raise your hand. Let it be known in the comments. Who wants Lego 2K Drive? Who wants Tomb Raider? Or is there another game? There is 8 games that we know of so far coming to Game Pass. Again, we're not going to talk about them all here. Those are the 3 that I really want to hit on. Here we go. Thought-provoking questions. At least questions that I deem as thought-provoking, because we're going to think about them. How will the addition of titles like Shadow of the Tomb Raider change the way we perceive value in subscription services like Game Pass? I mean, I don't. That's a question that we ask every month. In fairness, and I think it only continues to add to the value proposition that is Game Pass. It only can remember, Game Pass is not about having exclusives necessarily on your service. Yes, that helps, especially if they're big hitters, if they're big hitter exclusives. Of course, that helps, obviously. But what it's more about, the appeal is diversity of games, a variety of games for every niche, games that represent everybody, games that you want a game for everybody on Game Pass. And this fulfills that. Think about it. We got Lego just out of these 3 games. Granted, there's 8 games total, but there's 3 games that we know of so far. And just out of these 3 that we talked about here today, PGA, someone like me, sports fans, played the previous golf games, probably an older demographic playing this game than kids. A lot of fun. You've got Tomb Raider. That's a completely other demographic. Players who like action adventure RPGs or action adventure games. People, fans of Tomb Raider that want to jump in and play it as well. And then you've got Lego 2K, probably skews a little bit younger, something for kids, something for the family, something that the family can play together. And that's the value of Game Pass. Having this diversity, having this variety only helps Game Pass. It only helps the variety of Game Pass. And so it only increases the value proposition. Absolutely. Now, something that we always talk about here is considering the rotation of games in and out of Game Pass. How does this affect gamers' decisions on purchasing games outright versus subscribing? I very rarely purchase a game now. I do purchase games, though. Even if they're coming to Game Pass, I'll purchase them because I think what they've nailed is if you're really looking forward to a game, you can get early access to it. A week early access, 5 days early access, 10 days early access. I think that's a smart business model. I think you can get all the DLC. I purchased those as well. But it is one of those situations. I recently got a PS5. I was actually given a PS5, and I went through and I was looking through. Okay, what games do I want to play here on the PS5? What games do I check out? Really, the only game that I downloaded was Helldivers over on the PS5. But as I was browsing through the stores, there's NBA 2K24 there. There was MLB The Show there. There was a plethora of games, even on the top line, the top selling games. They're all on Game Pass. And so as I'm going through, I'm like, not going to buy that. Not going to buy that. Why would I buy that? And so that's a problem if you're PlayStation. It really is. PlayStation has sex appeal. It really does. But how do you keep up with all of these games coming in and out of the rotation of Game Pass? So how does it affect purchasing versus buying? It's a decision now. Really, I only purchase games that I know I really want, that I know I want to play. The last game I purchased was Dragon's Dogma 2, but I do still purchase those games. But it is a decision. If it's a game that you're maybe not super looking forward to or into, maybe you do wait. And maybe you wait and say, well, I'll wait for this to come to Game Pass. Also, I've got a ton of games to play on Game Pass in my backlog. So, yeah, I think that Phil Spencer has said, and Microsoft and Xbox have said, that they see an increase in sales. And I wonder if that's because you're no longer pulled in multiple directions when it comes to purchasing. So you can, for instance, I have all these games on Game Pass to play. So the games that I do buy, the games that I do want to buy, I'm more willing to buy because I'm not overwhelmed. Because I know I have this backlog of library, so I can focus on purchasing the games that I really, really want. I would love to know what you guys think, though. Has it changed? Has Game Pass changed your buying habits? I think it's changed mine. But again, I think, as I'm standing here talking about this, I think it's changed it in a good way. I am more willing to buy a game like Dragon's Dogma 2 that I really want to buy. I am willing to buy a game like Baldur's Gate 3 that I really want to purchase. I am willing to buy games, even early access. I think I bought Starfield because I wanted early access to it, which that came day one, and I knew it was coming day one to Game Pass. And I think I bought it for $29, which is, again, a great business model, I think, for Game Pass. So, but yeah, I'd love to know. I think that's an interesting conversation. How does Game Pass affect our purchasing habits? And I can see why Xbox sees the numbers that they see where it increases their purchases, because I think I don't hesitate anymore because it's no longer a decision process. I've got a huge backlog. I've got a huge library as a foundation there, so I can focus on the games that aren't in that I really do want to purchase. But interesting. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Last question here that I wrote down. What do these specific additions say about Microsoft's strategy for Xbox Game Pass and its positioning in the console gaming market? I don't think it says a whole lot here. I think it says what we've hammered on this channel repeatedly, and that is that it's the best value in gaming. That Game Pass is here to stay. I think Game Pass is revolutionary. I think everyone's going to follow the Game Pass model. I think we're just at the beginning of the Xbox domination generation, and I think but I don't think that's different. I don't think these games change that in any way. I think it just continues to add to it. And the ball is starting to roll. That rock is starting to roll down the hill, and soon you're not going to be able to stop it. And it's going to be very interesting. Phil Spencer, it was rumored, had an all-hands meeting where he said, every decision we're making for the long-term health and success of the Xbox. Long-term. Could you make decisions right now that sell you, some more consoles, some more hardware? Absolutely, you could. And I think that where you see people not understanding, very few people have long-term vision, I think. I think what sets successful CEOs apart from the rest of us is a long-term perspective, a long-term goal for health. I work at a video game company myself, and there's always this there's always this slight disconnect between developers and the player base. The player base, as players, we want what's best for us right now. Developers, people who are working on the game, have a more long-term vision, and so they're more concerned about the health long-term. Sure, we could do stuff right now that affect you, that you want and ask for, but is that what is best long-term for long-term sustainability? And I think that's what Xbox. I think that's the path that Xbox is taking. I think Xbox is taking this long-term vision. I think they want to dominate long-term. I think they have a 10-year plan here. And I think in 10 years, they're going to be the #1 powerhouse. I mean, look, when Netflix started, Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, all those guys existed. And Netflix started as, hey, we will deliver you DVDs straight to your doorstep for a subscription. You get 2 a month. You get 1 a month. Then that transitioned into streaming. And that was the ball game. Blockbuster never adjusted. Hollywood Video never adjusted. Movie rental stores never adjusted. Nobody got in on the game. They tried to, but it was too late. By the time they tried to, it was way too late. Netflix already had cornered the market, and I think Xbox is the Netflix of gaming. And we're going to see it. We're going to see a massive shift. We're living through a massive shift here. And I'll be honest, I'm very excited about it. I really am. Anyways, I would love to know what you guys think here on all of this stuff. What have I said that you agree with? What have I said that you disagree with? Let me know in the comments below. If you like what I'm doing here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We drop videos like this all the time right here, all things Xbox. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.